All right, let's break this one down. Clearwater
Yeah,
Casino, September 6th, Battle at the Bay. We have some debut people who are from gyms we know. We have some familiar faces. Like, I think this card's going to be a banger. Tell us about our first fight.
yeah. First fight will be Charles Payne from Sia Palista, Jason Temple. It's a heavyweight bout versus Diedrich Hairston from West Coast Fight Team. Trains with Talon Hoffman and Reese Andy and those boys down in Auburn. Couple of big 250 guys pushing 250, getting close to 265, the limit. Couple big guys. Charles is like 2-0. Diedrich's like 1-0. Good gyms that I respect, and so they're going to come out and stretch out my cage and stretch it out and bounce off the walls and rattle the boards, and somebody's gonna get their hand raised and somebody's gonna not. But I expect it to be entertaining. We're leading off with the big men.
We're leading off with the big men. Both these guys' wins come from knockouts, which
Yeah,
means someone's going night-night in our first fight of the night.
yeah, they got power. They're both big, tall, lanky gentlemen, man. They're gonna get after it. They're both well coached. I like Jason Temple a lot. He's a good friend of mine. I've interviewed him before. He's a tough little gym out there in Omak, Washington. And then Reese Andy and Talon Hoffman down at West Coast Fight Club in Auburn. They've been doing it for years, and they know how to get guys ready. So I expect them to put on a good show.
And I
And
think
then,
it's good. It's going to
yeah,
be fun to have heavyweights back. It's been a while since we've had what I think.
it has. I tend to gravitate towards the welters and the middles and the lights because they're just a little more exciting. But these guys are going to bring it. They're going to entertain. And then we're going into our fight number 2, which is a flyweight bout. Preston Gregory from ATT Portland versus Stephen Dopp from American Combat Academy. American Combat Academy is coming from Pocatello, Idaho.
Both these guys making their debuts with us, right?
I think with us, yeah. Stephen Dopp I had scheduled before, but he hurt his hand. He got his hand smashed at work or something weird, and so yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Not it was like shortly before the fight that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
But knock on wood, he's good, and ATT Portland, they're gonna come in shape, on weight, ready to go, well coached, well conditioned, great team. They make each other better down there, so I expect that to be exciting. We're going from heavy to fly. So from big and thunderous to quick and twitchy.
Quick and twitchy.
Quick and twitchy. I don't know a lot about either one of them. I just know a lot about their teams. And they're good teams with a good reputation. So I expect them to put on a good show.
Do you know? Wait, back. Let me go back to the first fight real quick. According to Tapology, we will have the number 4 versus the number 5 ranked heavyweights in the Pacific Northwest going against each other.
You know what? I didn't even track that. Good job. That's what I try to do, man. I try and keep it in the top 10 and find the guys busy and or find the guys that are obviously active and that are trending towards the top. And so that's good to know. I didn't know
that. Payne is number 4. Is it Hairston? How to say his last name?
Hairston.
Hairston's number 5 in the Pacific Northwest. Overall in the U.S. West, Payne's 22, Hairston's 25. So, like, they're both right there at the top.
Yeah. They're probably going to turn pro next year, maybe. Who knows? But, yeah, they're going to be entertaining. I expect that to be a good fight. I probably wouldn't have led off with it, but being that I'm only doing 10 fights and trying to give the teams and not have them go back-to-back and put one fight between them. So now the Sia Palista doesn't have to go back-to-back, but Sia Palista's heavyweight bout 1, and then back to where we were headed with John Buckso, the brother of Joseph, and bout 3 at welterweight. So I'm trying to stagger them so the coaches have a minute to breathe, regroup, get the next guy ready, and stagger it. But Charles Payne and Derek, I probably could have flipped to the 5th fight.
No, I like it. I like it as the opener. I like it as the boom. Here we go.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yep. So we have John and Gage. Is John making his debut with us?
Yes, John's making his debut, period. Brother of Joseph, who we've seen fight a couple times. Sia Palista, Jason Temple, good team. I think he can go 55 or 70. He's fighting up a little bit in weight. He's probably going to be on the smaller side of the welterweights. But I expect him to have really good jiu-jitsu and good striking, and Jason brings his guys prepared. And Gage Berger trains with Chris Stone at Gig Harbor Martial Arts over there on the other side of the peninsula. So trying to get some local guys to draw the local crowd. Chris Stone's been around forever, black belt, has a nice academy, small fight team. But he's a good coach. Chris is a good guy. I expect Gage to put on a good show, and who knows what we'll get. I expect it to be fun.
That's sometimes why it's fun. I mean, thankfully, I get to sit cage side, but just watching, sometimes guys come out, you don't know who they are. And then all of a sudden they come out and they put on bangers, and you're like, okay, here we go. Like, that's part of the fun of this job, is not knowing a guy when he comes in and then watching him and just being like, damn.
And you never really know, man. Like sometimes I think this fight's going to be a banger, and there's a lot of measuring and kind of jabbing, and they don't really engage. And then sometimes they just come out sloppy and guns blazing and very entertaining and up and down and topsy turvy, and they're on top, and then they make mistakes. I've always said that these amateur guys can be as equally entertaining, if not more entertaining, than the pros, just to the fact that they're kind of throwing everything in the kitchen sink out there and they're making some mistakes. Therefore, it's very topsy-turvy, and things will change, and it'll be up and down, and they make for very entertaining fights.
Yes. And then we go to our fourth fight, bantamweight 135. We got the ladies coming in.
Yes. They should be good. Christina Ordonez versus Sophie Bissell. Christina's from Kaiju Kickboxing in Kirkland, trains with Professor Ben Pine. They're building a tough fight team over there. They're my neighbors. I stop by and bring them posters and flyers, and like that gym is growing. They relocated to a nice location, super nice facility, and they're growing. They're putting a gang of good fighters together. Have a couple more of her teammates on the card in September 6th and September 20th. And she's fighting Sophie Bissell from American Combat Academy, trained by Sean Eastman. Sean's been around for well over a decade, bringing fighters to the show, and he's got a good little fight team. And so who knows, man? Christina's put on a good show, hasn't figured out how to get a W, just seems to like make a mistake, and the win slips away from her.
That's what it is with her. She's never out of a fight. She just makes a mistake that then something happens.
Yeah, she's in it all the time. I mean, she's got a good pedigree. I think she's a state champ wrestler. She's a good grappler. She's training with good guys over there at Kaiju. She's well coached. She just makes some mistakes, and I think she's just kind of getting the jitters out. She seems pretty nervous every time she fights. Honestly, she looks pretty tight, and maybe she's working on that. Hopefully, this is her third or fourth fight now.
This will be her fourth.
This will be her fourth, so she should be able to shake off those jitters and perform all the way through and keep a clear head. And I'm sure that's what she's planning on doing. And I don't know much about Sophie other than she trains with Sean, and that's a good team. They come to battle, and there's a lot of gyms that focus on like kids programs or family atmosphere, and then there's fight gyms, and I would call American Combat Academy a fight gym, a small band of knuckleheads, and over and down in Boise, Pocatello, Idaho, and they like to bang, they like to bring it.
And then we're rolling back to the featherweights, 145. Chris Sigler. Is it Jose or is it Chico? Same person?
Chico Juarez Ramirez. It's probably Jose. Maybe Chico is his
nickname or something. Okay.
Yeah, I think they sent me his nickname, what they call him, and then you brought to my attention that, hey, is that this guy? And I wrote it on the. I'll have to make sure I get it right for the official fight card, but yeah.
But both these guys making their debuts with us.
Typical Latin. Jose Chico Juarez Ramirez.
Yep.
6 last names.
Just 2 last names.
Same matchup. Sia Palista, WFC, White West Coast Fight Team, in Auburn. I don't know anything about either of them. I just know that their teams are good, and like I've said to you a bunch of times, I try and deal with the teams that have the best coaches. They're very reliable, and I know that they're going to bring good amateurs ready to go.
That's one of the things Ed and I have said on the show numerous times is we may not know your name as the fighter, but we know the school you're coming from. And most of these gyms, as you know, with Royal, like you're only putting someone in there because you trust they know what they're doing because your name of your gym is riding on them at this moment. It's their job to make a name for themselves, but your gym is riding on it. So West Coast Fight Team, CFPs, like their names are riding on it. So therefore, you know that they're bringing in a fight.
Yeah, I've been in the game a long time, so I try and deal with the guys that handle their business the best and the gyms that are like reliable and accountable and have a strong fight team. Occasionally, you get an independent that sneaks in and works his way, and I've had independents commit and honor their commitment and perform, and I've had independents commit and then go sideways towards the end because they don't have a reliable coach that's keeping them focused and on track and managing their weight and their training. And so it's definitely about building the relationships with the academies that are dominant in the fighting arena or the aspect of the gym business, and have good teams.
Our next fight, going back to flyweight.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say Frank's last name. I leave that to the announcers.
Kiwanuka. And
Versus,
speaking of good gyms, like one of my favorite gyms, probably one of my favorite gyms for sure north of the border, Diaz Combat Sports. Yeah. Frank is a good striker. He had a tough loss against, I think, Alex Chavez.
I was going to ask you, do you know both these guys have one loss? Both of their one loss is to Alex Chavez.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Diaz and Alex went at it too. So I expect that to be a good fight. Daz Diaz just won like world champion Muay Thai. I don't know how it works, if it's in age groups or Muay Thai.
It's a weird thing.
I don't know what a federation or the association is, but I did see that he was over in Thailand and he was in like a cool track sweatsuit representing the U.S. And he did good. He medaled. And like, man, when he fought Alex, that was a split decision, and it could have went either way. Like it was a good fight, lots of exchanges. So I expect these two to kickbox a lot. Kickbox, yeah. Frank and Daz. I expect it to be mostly striking, but somebody might want to figure out how to take it to the ground because they're probably both going to put hands on each other at one point.
I very much like that they're both 1-1 in the CoGa cage, and they're going to want that one back. So they're going to eventually go against Alex again, maybe. But the fact of they both have a win and a loss, so they feel both sides of that. So now they know, they have a win, they have a loss. Now they know the playing field, and so I think these two guys are going to go at it.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. Just having experience, like when we were talking about Christina, just the more experience you get. So they've been on the winning side, they've been on the losing side, they've been in the CoGa cage and had the camera in front of them at a bigger casino with a nice venue, and obviously that's adds to the nerves, and how they handle and process that stress is equally important. So they're going to come bring it. They're going to deliver a good fight. I expect that to be a potential actually fight of the night.
Yeah, there's like 3 on here that I have access next to that could be bangers.
I think they're pretty even, so I think it'll go the distance. I think it'll probably be a split decision. It'll be close, and I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. Daz Diaz and Frank Kiwanuka. Diaz Combat Sports and American Combat Academy represented out there. We got Canada versus Boise, Idaho. And then we're going to bout number 7, the lightweight bout. We got 2, talking about kaiju kickboxing. We got Rodrigo Teixeira, who's been on a tear. He's been winning grappling tournaments. He just was at Fight to Win and won. He was at another Jiu-Jitsu tournament, and I think he placed well there. He just coming off a win in the CoGa cage against Caleb. No, who am I thinking of? He just beat
He beat Caleb Wheeler.
Caleb Wheeler. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sub Caleb Wheeler, who's a stud. So I mean, Rodrigo's on a tear. He's strong wrestling. I really like how he mixes up his wrestling to set up his striking, and vice versa. He strikes to set up his wrestling, and he mixes it up really well to get in a dominant position and maintain it. And he's very active and very exciting, very confident.
Strong
Believes
as hell.
himself, super athletic, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I see him probably turning pro maybe early 2026. This is for the CoGa lightweight amateur title against Pavel Bredekin. Pavel trains with the world famous Charlie's Pearson at Charlie's Combat Club up in Everett, Washington. That gym's been around forever. One of the trailblazers, Charlie Pearson of MMA. Great coach. Also coached by Chris Vassell, who's also fighting on the card. And we'll cut to that in a second here. I'm super pumped about that fight. And Jacob Fernie, Miranda Barish, they all help build that team up there. Charlie's got a very strong fight team, strong, healthy business up there in Everett. Pavel's going to bring it. He's coming off a loss. He felt like he was doing well and just made a mistake. So he's hungry to get back in the win column, hungry to get the belt. I know there's a few CoGa belts hanging in Charlie's gym, and so he wants to chalk up another one. And I know Rodrigo, he wants the opposite of that. They want to hang that belt up over at the Kaiju gym. They got a new location, and I'm sure they'd like to get that on the wall and start to add to their history there.
We have to break news for our next fight, so tell us what happened.
Yeah, so I got a phone call. Alejandro's Arboleda, DS Combat Sports, suffered a severe concussion in training, and so he's out. He injured himself about a week ago, and I've been scrambling a little bit to get a replacement. I found a replacement. His name is Blake Monty. He's out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He trains at Extreme Couture.
Ooh.
He's managed by a guy named Roman, who I work with, and actually excited to finally connect with Roman and his team. Roman's a manager, and I've talked about bringing some of his guys up. He's 1-0. He's strong. He's got a wrestling pedigree that's going to match Malik's wrestling pedigree, so we'll see how it goes. But he's in great shape. I'm flying him in from Vegas. Blake Monty will be replacing the injured Alejandro. We wish Alejandro to get well and recover from his injury. Those are
He'll
serious.
be back. He's a beast.
He'll be fine. So we got 1-0 versus 0-1. And it's going to be a banger. I like this kid.
How did what was Malik's reaction when you told him?
I've only talked to his coach. I usually try and talk to the coaches. There's kind of like a unwritten rule.
That's fair.
They should talk to the coaches and let the coaches talk to their athlete. And so some guys I deal with directly that just message me, but I'm dealing with his coach. I really don't know the reaction. I just know I'm booking the airline ticket today and it's a go. We're going to make that happen, and I expect it to be entertaining. So, and I'm excited to, like I said, bring guys in from Vegas and expand and get outside of Washington, get in Nevada,
especially coming in from Extreme Couture. Like, let's go.
Canada, Hawaii once in a while. So, and Malik is entertaining, likes to talk and jaw, and he is very confident in his abilities, and he's looking to get back in the win column. So this should be sometimes these injuries, these weird things, kind of make for a better fight. I don't know enough about Blake to say I think it's going to be a better fight, but I know he's got a good gym and they're going to be ready. Blake was supposed to fight this Saturday. And for whatever reason, his fight pulled out. And as I was kind of scrambling, they're like, hey, he put in a fight camp. He's supposed to fight Saturday. I'm like, all right, well, dial it back and we'll do it in 3 weeks. So it worked out well. I got a little lucky on that one.
I kind of like that for Malik and who he is in his character. I'm gonna reach out to him, but I feel like this kind of adds something to him for the fight because like, he's CoGa, like he's been here, he's doing the thing here, and now you're coming to his cage to fight from Vegas. Like that adds another thing for him to want to prove, get the win, but also prove like we mess around, we fight here in the Pacific Northwest. Welcome.
Well, the theme that we've been talking about, we keep getting back to is the gyms that CoGa has built relationships with, and so um, as I alluded to a minute ago, like I'm excited to bring Extreme Couture up and in and build on that relationship. It's not that far. Travel was fairly inexpensive, and so I want to bring the best talent on the PNW, and that's Northern California, that's Oregon, that's Idaho, that's Montana, that's Canada, that's Nevada, right, right up there in the upper left. Let's get the best guys we can, and so it'll be good. This guy wants something to prove, and Extreme Couture is right up there with ATT, American Top Team, and so I'm sure he wants to represent his team and himself and his brand and keep his win streak going. So I'm excited. I'm excited to work with Monty and Blake Monty versus Malik Lee. It should be very entertaining. That's bout number 8. And then we're going to bout number 9. This one's, I think I'm kind of most excited about is the co-main event. Chris Vassell out of Charlie's Combat Club. He's coaching up there. He's been fighting. He's a veteran. He's a journeyman. And he's fighting Brandon Cromartie from ATT Portland. So you got American Top Team Portland versus Charlie's Combat Club. I think they're doing 155.
145. Unless it changed.
It should be good.
I think that one is one of those line in the sand of who has the better gym in the Pacific Northwest type situations.
And Chris Vassell, he's hilarious. He's entertaining. He likes to talk and smack and make it fun. And he likes to bang. Like Chris likes to strike. Actually, I tried to put this fight together a couple years, 4 years ago now during COVID, and then it just fell off. I think something happened with COVID, and Brandon got sick. So this was a fight I tried to put together 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm happy to put it together this coming September 6th at Clearwater Casino. It's going to be good.
And then our main event, hometown hero, RJ Hoyt, going for a title fight against Albizi. This fight really could go either way. Like, I'm so excited for this.
RJ's going after it. Like, everybody knows that kind of Albert is on the radar screen of the welterweights at 170 in the Pacific Northwest, and the UFC has eyes on him, and RJ's plan is to derail that and go in and go after that. Again, a fight that I tried to put together about a year ago, and it just didn't happen, and I'm happy to put it together now for the main event. RJ's going to come out, AC/DC in the background, crowd's going to be going wild.
Crowd's going to go nuts.
Albert's going to bring a bunch of his fellow countrymen, and they're going to, we're going to sell that place out. That venue's going to sell out, and it's going to be a highly entertaining night of good action-packed fights.
That's why I think from the heavyweights, who all of their wins are from knockouts, whole card, and for this to cap it off, where it could end with RJ Hoyt, that place losing their mind and him holding a belt up, or Albizi's going to do what he keeps doing and he's going to win. Like, either way, that main event is going to be bananas.
Yeah, Albert's on a tear. He's cross-trained at Royal, my gym, a couple times. He's trained with Bonafide Boxing, Michael Briggs, and he comes up to our gym a couple days a week and works with our fight team. And so I've seen Albert train, and he looks sharp. Albert is sharp. Albert is very well coached. He's in shape. He's strong. He's got a high fight IQ. He's deserving of the champ. He's my champ at 170 and 185. Great guy, great family man, very grounded, very disciplined. But he's looking to get a couple more wins and then hoping to get a call probably early 2026 or towards the end of this year. Who knows? I don't really know anything about that, but I know it's going to be a great main event. They're going to mix it up. Crowd's going to go wild, and it's going to be an awesome night of fights, man.
It's going to be freaking awesome. I can't wait. September 6th, Clearwater Casino. Get your tickets now. It's going to sell out. Watch the live stream. Hear me and Ed Herman running our mouths. It's going to be a great night.
It's going to be a great night. I'm looking forward to it.
Once again, the show is presented by Combat Games MMA.